So here's one I'm really excited to talk about. Not a lot of people are talking about this either, which is why I'm psyched to talk about it. So Bungie, as we all know, the creators of Destiny and Halo, one of the bigger franchises in gaming.
Yeah.
They also made Oni back in the day. Was it Myth?
Yep.
I think it was Myth.
Yep.
Not everybody knew about them until Halo, though. So they signed a deal, we talked about it a few episodes back, with a Chinese publisher called NetEase. And it said that they were investing $100 million into Bungie, this NetEase, to make Bungie a studio that's going to maintain multiple universes at the same time. So basically to expand even more. And Destiny has already tripled their size compared to where they used to be.
Yeah.
So they just trademarked this week the word Matter. They trademarked this game Matter. Did you see the logo for this?
No.
Google it right now, because I want to hear your reactions. What you think?
Well, in the meantime, you tell me what's your take on it. Is it
so first of all,
bad?
I'm gonna do a deep dive on this. So the definition of matter is physical substance in general. So that's all we know is the word matter. Did you see the logo yet?
No, my phone's being weird.
So if you look at this logo, it's very colorful, especially compared to something that you'd normally see from Bungie. My first thought was honestly Fortnite. That's what this is. It's literally like a rainbow of colors. It's just the word matter, and then a splatter of colors.
It's like the color run of titles.
Yes. So I'm looking at this, and because obviously a huge chunk of Bungie is still going to be working on Destiny. They've got 4 different developers on Destiny. They've got 2 teams at Bungie. So there's a live team. There's the team that just did Destiny 2 Forsaken, which is we're assuming is moving on to Destiny 3. But there's also a Destiny 3 team that we know about. There's been rumors forever that they're going to remake Marathon or launch Marathon again. There's a series that we forgot to mention in their initial batch of history. Yep. And that was actually we know that was been discussed a bunch of times. And then we've got this Matter thing, which is a new universe that they're going to maintain. So Destiny's a co-op shooter, looter shooter, pseudo MMO, shared world multiplayer, whatever you want to call it. So before I say anything, what would you expect, especially looking at that logo from Bungie? What type of game do you think would they be making next?
Looking at the logo, it's colorful. It's it's a bolded text. I don't know. It just sort of evokes maybe a younger
broad appeal,
targeted audience. Yeah, and if they're investing $100 million, they're going to need to target the largest possible audience that they can to recoup their money.
And it's a Chinese company. And what Chinese companies are always interested in, social experiences.
Yeah. So, well, and if this Chinese company plans on the game being released in China is actually getting very strict on what type of media is being released there. So it won't surprise me if it trends younger.
So this NetEase company, so for those of you who don't know, Bungie for Destiny is partnered with Activision. Blizzard is part of Activision, and Bungie and Blizzard have developed this really close relationship. This NetEase company is responsible for publishing the Chinese versions of basically all of Blizzard's games. World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, Diablo, StarCraft. They do all of them. What do all those things have in common? They are multiplayer social experiences. You could argue that Destiny is a multiplayer social experience, so this has got to be something different than Destiny, though. They're not going to make another, first-person Diablo-style game. So I'm literally thinking that this is Bungie's... I think they're going to go back and make a competitive game, because Destiny's not super competitive as far as on the esports side of things. There's a lot of PvP, but I think they're going to make a game that's really... Cause Bungie always makes sci-fi games. Let's just establish that. There's always science and space and stuff. But I think this is going to be just a multiplayer-only competitive shooter. And they're definitely aiming at the Fortnite audience, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to guess.
When I hear the word matter, too, I kind of wonder its matter. Like, is there going to be some actual building mechanic?
I mean, like all the
science?
colors. I mean, you think instantly sort of made me think of Fortnite because Fortnite is extremely colorful.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, I mean I wouldn't be surprised. Do you think it'll be a direct competitor to Fortnite?
I think it's going to take a lot of inspiration from it. I think
Battle Royale.
I don't know, maybe, but...
Or do you think they'll try something new?
I think the word matter is definitely going to play into the main gameplay hook, and I see that. That's why I think it's going to have some type of building. There must be some element of
creation,
yeah. Creation's a better word, maybe. And, science and stuff like that. And I think both Fortnite and Overwatch have done this really well. I could definitely see Bungie doing this. I don't think they have the staff to make another... Because Destiny is so big, and it takes so much, like... the lore, the gameplay, the rating, the strikes, the PvP. I think this is going to be purely competitive, but I think they are going to build a world. Fortnite and Overwatch have both done that, where they have lore and a story being told, but through their multiplayer.
Yeah.
And Halo 5 even did it to some extent, because they had the... wasn't all the PvP matches, like, weren't they supposed to be, like, on the Infinity? Like, weren't they supposed to be simulations on the Infinity?
Yeah.
I think you're going to see something like that, where they build this world, but through multiplayer only. It's going to be competitive, but there's going to be lore to it.
Yeah.
Because they said they want to maintain a new universe, which I think Destiny players probably got scared when they heard that, because they're like, well, we're all supposed to be investing in this universe, and you guys have screwed it up a couple times at least.
Yeah.
And now we're building another one,
Now we're taking our eye off the ball to focus on something else.
But I think there's been other smaller teams at Bungie that have been working on other stuff all along. The Marathon remake didn't really pan out. I think this team that's working on Matter it's probably small. It's probably like 50 to 100 people. And that's why I think it's just going to be a multiplayer exclusive experience, not a massive 1,000 developer ball of craziness like Destiny.
Well, I mean, then what's the $100 million for?
I mean, marketing is a huge part of it. I'm assuming marketing.
I mean,
technology.
I think if I recall correctly, the largest games in the industry right now are like up towards $60 million as a budget.
Oh, I think they're above that.
You think so?
Oh yeah, Red Dead. I could bet you Red Dead costs way over 100.
Oh, you think so? You think it's
the size of that game? It's 150 gigabytes to install it.
Last I heard, one of the Sony exclusives cost $60 million. So that's what I assumed the benchmark was.
Yeah.
So, but
I don't know. I mean, 100 million's a lot, but like Destiny has 4 different developers working on it. They've got teams at Bungie. They've got High Moon. They've got Vicarious Visions.
It's almost kind of surprising that video game development isn't more expensive than movie development when you think about it, because
I think it's getting close.
I mean, because like in video games, you gotta create everything. You gotta create the physics.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they have like engines and stuff now for sale by third parties.
I think tech is probably going to be a large part of this, because the Destiny engine is notoriously bad. So in who's that guy at Kotaku? Is it Jason Schreier, who writes all the really good behind the scenes?
Oh yeah.
In his book, he did a deep dive on the first Destiny's development, and their tech at Bungie is so bad that they used to have to. This is no joke. Whatever they were going to work on the next day, they'd have to boot it on their computer overnight because it took like over 8 hours to load the environments. So like, I think a large part of this, and that's why they actually made Destiny 2 and not discontinued it, because their tech for Destiny 1 was so dated that they had to start over.
That's incredible to hear, from the studio that made, 3 Halo games. You would think that they would be,
well, they were still using a modified Halo engine, that's why.
You would think they would be the bleeding edge of everything, but...
Well, I think when they signed on with Activision, I think they got a lot of the stuff they wanted. Like the marketing budget for Destiny is huge.
Yeah.
But like, I think when they ask for technology upgrades and stuff, I could just see Activision going, well, no, this isn't going to make you more profitable, so deal with it. Isn't there a GIF, a deal with it GIF? And like
deal with it.
Sunglasses come down. Sorry. Anything else? What would you like to see from Bungie? I mean, you're a classic Halo fan.
the cancellation of Destiny. That's all I can make.
Go back to Microsoft and make Halo.
Yeah,
that's
help those guys out.
All right.
When you think about it, I mean, the guys from Bungie and the guys from 343, the guys that head up 343 are really Bungie guys. That
Frankie.
Right? That just decided they wanted to stay with Halo.
Yeah.
I mean, basically it was who wants to stay with Halo and who wants to go do
but 343 hired a lot of outside talent.
But I mean, the core at 343, I think, is still sort of...
They've been with Halo for a while.
Yeah, ex-Bungie guys. And
like Joe Staten isn't on Halo, but he ended up going back to Microsoft. There's rumors that Marty came back.
When you take into account how many people they're going to hire for this, and I wonder how big, the combined studios, how big has the Bungie umbrella sort of gotten at this point?
I think Bungie's way bigger than 343 at this point.
Which is interesting because you think about it, and Bungie started, I mean, it was like a small miracle.
Yeah.
Halo was just, they were just this ragtag.
Halo was an RTS converted to a first-person shooter after 5 years of failed development.
They were really such a long shot for success in some ways. And yet, here they are, they're, combined, if you combine 343 and Bungie, they're probably one of the biggest, studios.
Yeah, when you think back to the first Halo game, how many innovations that game had. It was the twin stick controls that really pulled everything together. But the AI at the time was really good. Giant levels, just massive first-person shooter. Though every first-person shooter before that was corridors, and now you had these giant open levels. And I mean, just the amount of conglomerate of ideas and then probably strokes of pure luck that made Halo 1 the success that it was.
Pure magic.
All the random stuff that happened. Do you remember when an elite would flip when you flipped that warthog and you crushed the elite? Yeah, the old flipperoo and crush them. Just stuff like that was never possible before.
Just unbelievable.